if you have to live in a place where you're not used to the food or the environment, undoubtedly it will be a bit more stressful for you. But if depends, I guess, what type of person you are. Because if you choose to live in another culture, maybe you're already an open-minded person and welcome challenges. But if you are forced to live in another culture, that might be, and you're not that adaptive, then probably it would add to the stress levels. People who are more open-minded and adaptable tend to take living in a different culture as a challenge.
Yes, I think because as soon as the changing happens, the people's attitudes will also change too. So it's like when I met different peoples in CJCUs, and we also have a lot of collaborations. So in these collaborations, or when we met, or when we are working in the same project, I feel that we have totally different kinds of attitude when we are working in a same place. Like in last year and this year, we also have these summer camps in Liu Gui communities, but you can see when we are working, we have different kind of attitudes, and maybe because of the language barrier. But when we are working, when we are facing the same problems, different country peoples, they will react different. So in between, when they are reacting different, they will also exchange their idea. So when they exchange their idea, of course the attitude will be completely different, and because they also understand each other in that situations when they are exchanging ideas or working together. So yes, I believe that culture change can affect people's attitude. Thank you so much.
I think the best way to interpret someone's emotions reactions is from three things. One is their behaviors, and two is from their facial expression, and the last one is their speech. You know exactly this person is not talking like this in normal circumstances, or is not behaving like this in normal circumstances. So their changes of behavior, or the changes of their tones, lowering or raising of their tones, you might really understand this person is going through something. And when it comes to facial expression, it really shows from that particular person that this is not his or her real face, and might be going through something. And I think that's a really quick response towards reactions when it comes to emotions.
The best way is to hear a person out. I mean, through talking. When people talk, I think they say what they have. Sometimes we do smile, but our words, the way we actually speak proves that we are different somehow. We can just use facial expression and conversation to understand what a person is actually going through or is thinking at the moment. The best way to know is through talking. It's very easy to understand someone's emotion from his or her own words. Yeah, I believe so, because even in some therapies, when you talk to a person, the therapist, when you talk to them, they actually understand you from the talking. So I think the best way to understand someone's emotions is from conversations. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Yes, I think culture has something to do with the display of emotions. Emotions can either be positive or negative. And different cultures may react the same when it comes to positive reactions or emotions, but different cultures may react very differently when it comes to negative reactions or emotions like crying or being sad. There are some cultures which depict men as very strong beings, and that makes them to not display their negative emotions in front of everyone. For instance, some cultures do not allow men to cry in front of everyone because that makes them being weak. And I think it's okay because that's the point of view of certain culture or certain ways of life.
For me, I think it's a yes, because I believe that people we are born with emotions, but the way those emotions are getting shaped, it depends on the culture of where we grow up. Maybe, for example, the way I react to different situations, or maybe the way I express my feelings to others, is different from the way Taiwanese do, or maybe people from other countries do, because we didn't grow up in the same way and we've been taught differently. Let's say maybe in my country, we value more low arousal emotions, and from other countries they value more high arousal emotions. So for that, you can see the way we will react, or maybe the way we express ourselves, will definitely be different because the background or maybe the culture that we have is different. So I highly believe that the culture affects the way we display our emotions.
I think no, because we have different culture. In Malaysia, we usually won't go to the hospital if we are sick. But in Taiwan, most of my Taiwanese friends or others will suggest us to go to hospital even we have a slightly high fever, because we get the insurance card in Taiwan and we need to pay for it every year. So usually they will say, okay, you get sick, go to the hospitals and take pills or something else. But in Malaysia, my parents won't encourage us to go to hospital. But what we will do when we are sick, we will sleep and take some vitamin C's, and we just recover ourselves the next day. So it's totally different when we reacting in the same situations in my country and in Taiwan.
I can say yes, because the way my culture has taught me how to react is like a seed that they have planted in me, and it's really hard to remove. But I cannot openly say that the culture of here in Taiwan didn't affect me in any way. Of course, it did in some ways, but at 97%, I can say I'm still reacting the same way I used to when I was in my country. Yeah.
According to how I react, as per how I reacted from my home country, it's actually different. And since time changes, things cannot be the same. They are rarely the same. So I react differently, but I came to notice that my level of thinking, my critical thinking skills have quite increased quite a bit, have improved a little bit, and I think this is because of the many things that I learned from Taiwan. They make me react differently as per how I was reacting in my home country. Culture, according to how I think, culture takes a very big part in shaping your feelings and how you live generally. Different cultures have different ways in which they do their things, but the feelings that are involved in what they do is what generally makes the culture, and it's what makes the culture stronger and helps in daily way of life of the people available in that particular area.
according to our culture, if you want to interpret somebody's emotional feelings or reactions, it's not easy because most of Burundians try to hide their true feelings. But most of the case, if you see somebody talking too much, if you are a young person, and you try to talk too much, show that you don't have good manners, you are rude. And also, if you see people smiling, doesn't mean that they are happy. For instance, back to 2013, I lost my sister and I kept smiling. People told me you have to smile even if you lost your sister. So most of the cases in my country, you see people smiling most of the time, but it doesn't mean that they are happy. They try to cope with the situation that they are in. Yeah.
Behavioral change, speech, and facial expression. You might really understand this person right now is so angry from their facial expression, or this person is doing something very weird today. Their behaviors have changed. This is not the person that I knew yesterday or a few hours back. And also their changes of tone, like, you know, this person is raising their voice to you or lowering their voice to you, something is wrong. So in that way, I think we also interpret someone's feelings and emotions reaction.
From my culture, I can say that the emotional reactions of people and feelings are very strong. People love each other very much. People care for each other. People support each other back in my home country. Actually, that is a culture that when I was born, I found that it is there, and I hope that it will continue to be there from generation to generation. And I think that it's good if people care for one another, if they love each other, and if they help each other in different and various ways. For example, in our home country, if you walk by the road and you fall down, for example, if a person gets a heart attack or is sick or anyhow falls down, you will see like large number of people coming to help you, like, what has happened? Are you okay? How are you feeling? So such things help to make the community grow in unity with love and care for each other.